Welcome to Elevate the Game, where DFW's top leaders drop gems on success, strategy, and legacy with your hosts, George Abreu and Eric Badiwala. Let's get into it.
Today, we're joined by Miguel Guillen, Senior Director of Technology and Data at Visionary Health. Miguel has led enterprise data strategy at companies like PepsiCo, AWS, Microsoft, and most recently built a full data governance program at Zone in the real estate space. He specializes in turning complex data into stronger risk controls, smarter decision-making, and scalable growth. Thank you, Miguel. Can you give us a quick snapshot of what you're doing right now and kind of what's led you into this business and in this space?
Sure. Thank you for the invitation and for being here.
Absolutely.
But mostly my background is in technology. A lot of people who work in IT can be a developer, can be a consultant, different type of business. At one point, you have to decide which route you have to take professionally because it's impossible to know everything. In my case, data was something that called my name, and because I worked with databases in the past, and because I was a consultant in the data platform, that's kind of combined with the different companies and different experiences as well. So in a way, being a consultant and being able to work on your passion, the two things that they work together. At the same time, knowing that technology is moving quickly, keep learning, keep adapting. That's very important as well. So that's what it brought me here in a different path, different challenges, and many different ways to, at the moment, thinking where I want to go. Tomorrow, we don't know. So,
Yeah, to say technology changes quickly is an understatement almost, but especially with AI and everything that's happening there now. But yeah, it sounds like you've had quite the career there, and so you're consulting for these different companies, and then kind of from project by project. Is that kind of the way you do it?
yeah. So I do have kind of the split, brain in a way. I do have my job at the company that I'm working for, and then the consultant as well is something that I do. Mostly is very related. The biggest difference is what type of challenge or project or customers or clients that you're working with and what they're trying to accomplish, and then how can we bridge together that gap. Do you need me? Do you need somebody else? I can connect you with somebody, and that's how things normally work.
Got it. So obviously, there's a lot of competition in the tech space overall. What would you say separates you apart from others?
To me, the focus always has to be about what type of solution are you bringing to the table, and that's where I think the majority of consultant firms and big companies are losing a little bit traction. They're very focused on selling you something, right? And sometimes it's what you need, but many times it's not what you need. In my case, it's about listen to the problem, what they're having, trying to understand how they are getting there and what type of solution they are thinking. And then from there, talk to them about the technology and the solution, the possible solutions and all that. But you have to do the first couple of things about listen, and then take notes, make sure you understand what are the business requirements, what do they need, what are they trying to accomplish, what is the problem itself. And then from there, don't try to solve the problem, in the first 5 minutes. Normally not how it works, but majority of the time, the companies have these recurring problem or things that they're going through. And first, they want to be listened to, and they want to make sure that you understand their problem. You're not trying to sell them something. You're trying to solve their problem or anything. Is more like, listen, this is the problem. Okay, we're going through this transformation, this issue, these things. Now, what do you recommend? And then from there is what that conversation naturally has to evolve. And I think that's super important to go with anybody who want to be in consulting, anybody who want to run their own business, anybody who want to help others. The first and very important part is listen to the other person, the company, the problem, the group of people that you are there to, before you even actually start talking, before you're trying to solve the problems.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great tip. I mean, a lot of people just go straight into the sale, but if you don't listen, you want to be able to solve their problem, but you got to listen first. Also reminds me of my wife always tells me that, right? As soon as she starts telling me something, I'm there to solve it and I start solving it. And sometimes she just wants me to listen first. um, so yeah, what's maybe one thing that, others find very challenging, but you've throughout the years, you've kind of comes easy to you?
I think in today's, I'm gonna answer a little bit backwards, but you understand. Everybody's talking about AI. AI is everything and the solution and the future and all that. But the reality is, AI without the data that is secure, that is clean, that is accessible, is not going to give you the result that you want. So a lot of companies and a lot of businesses and a lot of people have ideas. They have data that is historical from their business. They have problems that they have to solve. All of that goes first. Then AI is kind of at the end of that road. Many businesses now they're throwing AI at everything at the end of the problem, but they don't have that capacity or mentality or idea of like, no, first you need to step back, go and look at your data, look about how clean it is, how accessible it is, has it been secure, has it been encrypted, has it been labeled, has it been, all those things, and then you're gonna get a much, much better results. And I think that's what that conversation has to turn in terms of how making AI really results oriented versus, hey, this is the tool that is going to fix everything. It's like, well, not really. But in your specific business, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What is the data behind it? What does it look like? And I use an expression that a lot of people laugh about it, but it's really true. Is that you ask the question about how ugly is your baby, and if you ask if you have your own kid, your baby is the most beautiful kid in the world, right? No doubt. But if you're honest with yourself, my question is, how ugly is your baby? Is how clean is your data? How prepared it is? How actually are you securing that? Are you making sure that what you're feeding to the next process, the AI, the ML, whatever that is ready for that? Yes or no? And then you can address that question in a couple other extra questions, and you can see, okay, where are you in this journey? If the answer is I don't know, it's like, okay, then before we talk about AI, let's talk about what is the status of your data, what is the process, what are you trying to do and solve and all that. That's very, very important because before we're able to run, you need to be able to walk, you need to be able to, and that's something that because the IT world is so fast, moving so rapidly, many companies, especially traditional ones, they're struggling a lot because they go into AI and they don't see good results. And they're like, well, this is not working. And spending money, time, resources. And look, the result is bad. Why? Is it, oh, because like I said, you have to do that process with the data.
So it's in a sense, it's only as good as what you feed it.
Mhm.
Huh, okay.
They call it in the industry, they call it garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah.
If you bring
Yeah.
garbage, all you're gonna get is garbage. But and think about this. One example, right, is I worked for American Airlines for a couple of years. American Airlines have, over 100 years history, and they have a bunch of airplanes, engineers, pilots, mechanics, all kind of data, right? That is historical over 30, 40 years that they've been collecting this. Now, can you use that to create some new line of business, solve some type of problem? The answer is yes. But the idea of don't bring this bulk of data and then boom, feed it into the AI, that's not gonna work. And
Mhm.
that happened to, traditional business, as I mentioned, that they think, well, we have all these data that we've been collecting. That would be great. It's like, yes, but we need to do that process of going through it and making sure that it's clean, organized, labeled, secure, and all those things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And the ugly baby statement, I think that a lot of business owners feel like the business is their baby. So that could definitely be a tough question to ask someone. Um,
Yeah.
I guess you may have answered this already somewhat, but like if somebody was looking to really implement AI in their business, what tip would you give them before jumping all in?
Yeah, the probably the number one thing right now is that make sure that you can measure what is the ROI, the return of the investment,
Mm,
right? What is the solution that you're looking for? What is, the success mean for you? Um, I give you a very simple example. If I have a flat tire, success for me means I need to change the tire, right? I need to put a new tire in a business. It's similar. If I'm putting a chatbot, for example, that is the simplistic, the easiest way to do today, right? Anybody can do that.
yeah.
My answer or my question is, what are you trying to accomplish with the chatbot? In my personal experience, 9 out of 10 times I close that chatbot as soon as the web page come in and start bugging me. I close that. So is that return of investment on that chatbot worth something for you as a company? 9 out of 10 times, probably no. But how do you measure that? So make sure that you're able to measure, say, we're here today. If we implement this, we'll be here today. Can I measure that? Can I make sure that what I'm putting in, I'm getting my money out? And the danger of not doing it is what is happening over and over and over again. CEOs, CTOs, CFOs, all these, C-suite people, they said, I want AI, I need AI, I need it yesterday. I don't care. This is your money, your budget, go and do it. Okay, that's the probably the easiest approach from their point of view. Hey, I give you whatever you need, go and execute. But at that moment, the question should be is like, what are we trying to solve? What is the problem? What is the return that we're expecting to get from here? And now there are more and more studies that are coming out saying that 86% of those pilots or those programs are not returning anything. I don't think it's the problem is AI itself. It's actually more, hey, they haven't done that due process of making sure that what we're doing is not just cool, but it's actually worth time and effort and money for my business, for my problem, for what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen it lately a lot with the valuation of businesses, of these large businesses that spent all this money on AI, and now they're realizing that where was the ROI on that, right? And that's really what investors care about, right? Is the value of the company and their shares going up. But yeah, no, that was great. I think maybe what's one of the biggest challenges you've had and how you've overcome that in your career?
From the point of view of IT, right now, there's a lot of layoffs. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. There's like almost like a bipolar economy in a way.
Hmm.
Heavy investment in AI, in data centers, companies, putting billions of dollars of that. And at the same time, the same company, they're laying off 10,000, 15,000 people. So if you are the person on that middle, right, you're like, wow, what's going on? Um, the biggest challenge for me is if you are really a technologist, if you love what you're doing, if you really enjoy doing that, this shouldn't stop you. I hear a lot of people saying, well, I'm going to be a plumber. I'm going to work in air conditioning because I got laid off 6 months ago. And use that time and that situation to learn something new, to up your skills, to make sure that that investment of your life and career is not wasted away. If you have 10 years, 5 years, 12 years as a developer, as a IT manager, as a customer support engineer, whatever that is, don't lose that. Just adapt to what is the new thing. Now we have new tools, a bunch of AI, different brands, different flavors, different tools. Have you learned those? No. Okay, well, maybe this is your break that you need to say, okay, now I can create my own machine learning. I can create my own, experiment doing chatbots or doing this and doing that. And that's kind of probably the one of the biggest challenges right now, the uncertainty that in the world of IT, it feels like you are either, in the fast or famine type of phase. And if you're in the middle, like I'm working in this field, but I'm afraid I'm going to be laid off. How do I manage that? And my biggest advice is that, okay, take a pause. If you get laid off or your job get eliminated, don't panic. Your expertise and your skills and your experience is still very valuable. It maybe is a way of pivoting a little bit, adapt, maybe supplement that knowledge with the new tools, and then you'll be ready when the market kind of come back. And I'm sure it's not going to be very long. Then they will need people again to be able to work with the AI, with the data centers, with the new tools. So you'll be ready. Versus the panic mode of I'll take whatever job or I'll go and work in a in a factory or delivering packages for so and so companies. Like no, don't do that, because if that takes too long, you're gonna lose your skills, you're gonna lose your edge. And that has been kind of my experience working what you like, enjoy, keep learning, don't stop. The market might shift, and that's normal. Now it seems like a big shift, and it is. But don't panic. Don't say, well, I'm quitting and I'm gonna be a carpenter. So okay, well, if that is your passion, yeah, go for it. But normally, if you've been 10, 12, 15, 20 years in IT or in the industry, normally it will take you a long time to become a good carpenter, and you're probably a good technician or good IT person. So
Yeah. So take some time to invest in yourself, improve your skills. You know, everything essentially could be taken from you, but the one thing that really can't be taken is your knowledge, right? So I think that's great. Um, so kind of pivoting from the active day to day on the business, a lot of professionals and business owners are kind of looking towards the future and how can they create some passive income or not have to work so much, right? On the active income. What are your thoughts about that? Have you made any moves or investments on that end?
yeah, so to the key point, and you guys are in commercial real estate, and that's a great field to be. In my case, real estate was an investment early on, and Dallas is still, in my opinion, a very good market for that. Even that
Agreed.
it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is coming from somebody who lived in Seattle 10, 12 years ago,
Ooh.
where the market is completely different than here. So believe me when I'm saying that there are opportunities out there. And in my case, I'm not a handy person. I can tell you that I'm not the one who can fix a window or stuff like that. But what I did in the early days is I have a very good group of contractors that I can use, and I have the confidence to call them and contract with them and say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So start thinking on that. I have a bunch of friends that they use some of their passive income from their 401k, or they have stocks, or some of them are in crypto and all that. Is that make sure that whatever that investment is that you mentioned is bringing you passive income. And
Yeah.
then what do you do from there, right? Do you reinvest it, or do you keep a part for whatever it is, and then the other part will get reinvested? But don't, if you can, don't burn through that, because at the end you want to look back and say, okay, I invested in here and this produced X, and then I invested here and that produced Y, but now I have X plus Y, which combine is. So even if it's $200-300 a month, there are multiple people saying, well, especially coming from the IT, they only know, like I said, their 401ks and maybe some stocks that they get from the company, and they leave it there forever. They don't do much about it. It's like, well, there are multiple options that you can do. One of them, I like real estate because of that, because you have a type of source of income that is passive, that is not exactly the stock. If the stock market goes really, really down, as in
Yeah.
2008 happened, some people have to live somewhere, they have to rent somewhere, so they still have that, and kind of similar to other type of sources. So find that extra income, passive income, that it will help you to, when the hard times come, you at least say, hey, I have this small amount of income that is coming this way, and it keep me going. And when things get better, maybe I can go back and reinvest more, or do something else. So that's my advice. And you know this better than me. Real estate is kind of the ups and downs, but in general, if you look back 10, 15, 20 years, it's up.
Yep.
So if you only focus on the little up and down, it can make you dizzy, right? But similar to stock market, similar to crypto, similar to pretty much anything. But it's like, hey, remove your feelings out of that, be an investor in the long run, and then that way you can actually, create that passive income and have a easier life and don't depend on if I get laid off tomorrow, the market change or something happen, then oh my gosh, what am I gonna do?
Yep. No, it's definitely a long-term play. Couldn't agree more. But so as we're kind of wrapping up the interview here, I usually ask, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have in the works for the next 6 to 12 months, or do you have any?
Yeah, no. So we're working with my wife on this to see how can we actually position ourselves in being able to keep investing the way we're doing it. So we're getting to the point that the investment and risk has to be managed better, and that's one of the things that in my case, when other people come and ask for advice, that hey, I do what I feel doing, but if you want to know is there are different levels of risk, you need to understand where you are, what you're good at it, what it let you sleep at night good, and what it doesn't let you sleep at night. So one of the things that is keep doing what we're doing is being very steady. And to me, the best part is that the market is in IT at least is kind of up and down, up and down, up and down. In my case, I don't lose sleep. It's pretty steady because of the extra income that we have, and we want to continue to do that. So
Nice. That's great. Miguel, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your insights. If people wanted to connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
well, I'm in LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to connect with me. And I've been in LinkedIn since early days before even became something big. So I do have over 30,000 followers there, which
Oh,
is
wow.
great. And I enjoy sharing articles and things about technology and other things. So, and I'm always open in the DFW area, grab a coffee or let's go for, if you have questions. And like I said, I don't consider myself the expert or nothing, but I do have the experience of being here in Dallas for 12 years, and I lived in Seattle before. And like you mentioned, companies like Microsoft, AWS, some people are very interested to know how do you do that? How do you get in and all that? And so yeah, I can give you a couple tips. Maybe things have changed. I don't know, but I'm always open to that. If you want to grab a coffee, ping me on LinkedIn, and always open to have that face-to-face conversation. I think it's always great to meet new people, to open your network, um, and learn from others as well. I'm very interested about what you guys are doing with commercial real estate investment and all that. And so it's always great to listen and to learn from others as well.
Awesome. You heard it. So make sure you guys connect with Miguel on LinkedIn. We'll put the link in the notes as well. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you, Jorge. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Elevate the Game. If you're a mover and shaker in DFW with game to share, apply to be a guest at elevatethegamepodcast.com/guest.